Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Electric Vibe podcast. If this is your first time, please hit like and subscribe. Welcome to our universe. So, the Pointer Sisters gave you Oakland Church and Hollywood glam. Sky gave you the same energy, but with the same vibes, but with a gritty lens that only Brooklyn could give, with that sense of urgency underneath every groove. Today, we get to talk to the Ladies of Skyy. Jay, would you care to chime in, sir? This is the Electric Man himself, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. J. David Silver. How are you, sir?
Sure, I am doing well and, grateful to be here as always. And,
Same here.
tonight we've got a full house. I mean, we've got 3 voices,
Yep.
1 legendary sound, and a story, Kurt, that's been running for 5 decades. Think about that. 5
Crazy, isn't it?
decades. I think that it is absolutely fantastic that we get to speak to Denise, Dolores, and Bonnie, the Ladies of Skyy.
What?
Denise, Dolores, Bonnie, thank you and welcome to the Electric Vibe. We're so happy to have you all here. How are you tonight?
We are
Real
great.
good.
The gang's all here, and
Yes.
we're looking forward to this. This is gonna be
Yes,
great.
it is indeed the Ladies of Skyy, and I'm going to be a gentleman and give Kurt the honor of kicking us off with the first question. Kurt,
Oh my God. So, first of all, we've been talking to the ladies for a minute here before we hit record, and I'm going to tell you right now, these are some amazing women that we have before us tonight. They're one of the oldest still touring, still singing together, all original female trios in the history of recorded music. I just want to put that on record before we even get started, because that part doesn't get mentioned often enough about you fine ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to welcome the Ladies of Skyy here once again tonight. I want you to all take us back to Bed-Stuy, back in the day.
Oh boy,
Okay, now we're gonna go back
bad
to
stuff.
FDR High School. We're gonna
Woo!
fast forward your years a little bit and talk about your music teacher that's helped us set the foundation for what would become the Ladies of Skyy and the female power that that gives Sky its identity. So, any one of you want to start on that one?
Well, Bonnie, I'll let you start.
No, I've been started.
Okay, then it's on me. Then I'm the
It's
oldest,
on
so
you.
I didn't want to just take my
No,
spot,
you
my
can't
oldest
do
spot. Well, I am so happy that you really started with that point in our career because that was the foundation of us becoming the vocalists that we are
Right.
and also having true appreciation for the art of singing. And I was just, a matter of fact, telling Austin today that I almost messed up graduating because I was taking music, music, and music, and didn't realize that I needed art in order to graduate. And I was like, but I had music for 3 years because I loved Mrs. Lind so much. And
Yes.
so I was in the girls' chorus, the mixed chorus, I was in a side jazz chorus that she created because she would take the best of the best, and then she would place us in these more elevated, challenging sets of circumstances as far as music is concerned. So we'd
Sure.
be doing music arranged by Fred Waring.
Oh,
I'll
and
never
his
forget it. Mood
Pennsylvanians.
Indigo.
Oh,
Mood
my Lord.
Indigo was one of
My
the
best
most
whatever.
difficult pieces that we could possibly, have had learned to do. And Mrs. Lind set a certain standard. Everyone who came through Mrs. Lind's class was prepared to go to what was called all city chorus. And
Mhm.
all city was the highest level that you could reach. If you went to be called to be a member of that chorus, you had to be the best of the best. And so she trained us for that. And interestingly, that
Mhm.
folded into our being in talent shows. Because one of the things I loved about FDR High School is that it was really about music. So we had talent shows every spring. We had choral concerts every fall and spring. And then we'd have talent shows just before school was over, like around May. And that gave everybody a chance to come out and show their talent. So that's when Dyla Ray, or we were then known as the Sounds of Soul. That was our first
Yes, yes.
Right.
incarnation.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Sound
Right.
Was the Sounds of Soul.
Right.
And that's when we started, our the beginnings of our what became our professional career. But that FDR High School was the foundation of our musical career.
it was.
Excellent.
It was.
And
It most certainly was. And it's funny because I actually didn't start singing with Denise and Dolores in the beginning. It was a friend of ours named their classmate named Deborah. I actually started with playing the clarinet first. And I was
Oh, excuse me.
I played
Yep.
clarinet.
Here we go.
I played
Okay.
clarinet. I loved it. I loved it. I played
Cool.
clarinet. And I actually was still in junior high school, and Denise, Dolores, and Deborah did a talent show, and I came to the talent show with my mom and dad, and I said, and I heard them singing, and I said, that's what I want to do. So the next year, I still wasn't in high school. I don't know how they got me in, but the
And
next
we
year,
stuck her in.
next year I sang with them in the talent show. I wasn't even in the school yet, but they allowed me to come in and
Sure.
sing with them in the talent. But it was like Denise said, it was FGR was known for its arts,
Yes.
Mhm.
whether it be music, dance. They had such a great curriculum, and that is what's really missing in the schools today. It's really sad.
You could say that louder for the people in the back of the church because that.
What has happened to the arts?
Oh,
Gone.
And those are it's sad
Mm.
because it
Yeah.
seems like those are the first programs that
To
are
go.
cut
Right.
in the
Always.
budget.
You know.
And I don't think they realize how grounded it makes individuals as human beings. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yep.
there's something about Bonnie, and I'm sure Bonnie and Dolores will agree. When we would be singing with chorus, and so we'd have almost 30, 40, would you say about 40 people in our
Oh, yeah.
various
Yeah,
choruses?
between the sopranos, first sopranos, second sopranos, first altos, second altos,
All right.
Tenors and bass.
first and tenors, and
Yep.
bass.
He read
Tenor.
yeah, Kurt said,
Here.
We had a
I'm here, girls. What do you need? What note? What am I starting with? What's the chord?
that's it. That's
Oh my
it.
goodness.
You haven't, and it's so
Yep.
there's this thing that happens around you when you are part of creating that kind of sound in an auditorium. As you see, you understand exactly what I'm saying, Kurt.
I do. Because as a former opera singer, I know the three of you have been definitely exposed to opera. One of
Oh
the
my
three of
goodness.
you was in an interview talking about going to see the opera with your mother. Which one was that?
Well,
That was
actually,
Denise.
it
She went
was me going with my Aunt Sadie. I
Okay.
came to learn. My aunt, so my
Yes.
dad's oldest sister, Sadie
Mhm.
Mae Williams, was a contralto,
Oh,
and she was very involved in the Black opera scene at that time. Now, I did not know this or
cool.
really understand this until we were doing the unsung.
Mm.
And so I did a little bit of a deep dive
Right.
into that whole, era of Blacks being involved in opera.
Mhm.
And she took me to my first concert, which was at the Brooklyn Academy of Music.
At BAM. Yep.
Miss Adelaide
Oh yeah.
Boatman and Boatner. And she walked on that stage with this blue, I'll never forget it. I was 5, blue sparkly dress on, and opened her mouth and started singing. And she was accompanied by her husband on
Who was
clarinet. And he was
blind.
blind. And so the dog was sitting on the stage as well. And that's one of the things that I guess when you say early influences, that was one of the first influences that I had. And I fell in love with the art of singing and the art of performance.
Wow.
But then I came to find my aunt actually recorded an album, and Still wie die Nacht is the song that she sang on this album. You know what I'm saying, Kurt? Do you know that
Yes.
song?
Oh,
I say it
Schumann.
right?
Is it Schubert
oh,
or
and I had the
Schumann?
most
Schumann.
amazing picture of her.
So she's singing German lead.
That's
That's
correct.
great. Yeah.
Yes,
I
correct.
mean, listen, that's a
And Miss
foundation.
Adelaide was in a lot of productions, on Broadway as well. She was in chorus and like that. I looked up and I found all this out by doing research in Jet magazine.
Wow.
So she was the first person that, introduced me to music and performance, and she bought me my first little corny little M&E organ,
Oh, I love it.
blast from the past. Alert!
Wow. Before there was Farfisa organs that
Before
Sly would have played
Farfisa.
on, that would have been that. Right. Yeah. Right.
Yes, yes.
Right.
But then pan to our parents who just played music incessantly in the house. There was always music
Oh
in
my
that
goodness.
house. Bonnie, wait, tell him Bonnie about Daddy.
Daddy, it was Daddy that really he was a stickler about his albums. Now, you better not leave that
Oh,
album on that Magnavox turntable.
and they were
Back
not
to Fox.
73s, they were 16s and 78s.
And he was a big blues and Arthur Prysock,
Mhm.
and, that
Mm.
was his thing, and then we watched the Ted Mack original Amateur Hour, Ed Sullivan, and we watched these groups.
Mickey
Mhm.
Mouse Club. Let's not
The
forget
Mickey
that.
Mouse Club, right, we and Patty, Maxine, and Laverne, we
Mhm.
watched these
And your
old
sisters.
movies
And
with
your
these
sisters.
women and these harmonies singing, and we would get in front of the mirror, and our poor mother, I don't know how she could stand us, but the 3 of us would get in front of the mirror on her closet door, and we would just sing and sing and
And
sing.
dance and do our little moves.
Do our
Sure.
little movements to the
We
Oh,
point
had
where
choreography.
she would tell us to go in the room. You, Denise, you go in your room. Dolores, you and Bonnie go in your room, and she would make us get something to read. Now, you didn't go in there to
To
play.
make more noise.
That there was no noise making. But, she and like Denise said, um, we came from a house of music. Wouldn't you say that, Wanda?
Oh,
Dolores?
absolutely. There was times on Saturdays when it was cleaning day, and cleaning day was putting on an album, and I remember Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs.
And the
ooh,
MGs,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
What? Green Onions was the record of choice. We were playing music. There was vacuuming going on. There was dusting going on. There was
Wall
things
washing.
there
It was
was
instrumental
music.
without vocals.
There was music going on when you were cleaning.
Sure.
And I found myself doing that as I got older. You know what I mean? And I think Bonnie,
Mhm.
you can attest to this as well. When we lived together, when we were cleaning on Saturdays, there was music because music was going to help you get the cleaning done, and you was going to be one and done, and
Mhm.
and it was going to be happiness.
It
So
it
cleaning was
still
not a
helps.
bad thing during the day on
Man,
Saturday.
it's
It
not.
was a
It's
good day because you was listening to the music and you was getting it done.
oh, that's what's up
Oh,
with
I
that.
I I
That's so
love
cool.
it. So, ladies, I want to ask, when you were the Sounds of Soul and you started playing, talent shows and things like that, can you talk about the segue then, on your way to the big stage? I mean, was it a sense of, you know, deer in the headlights, shell shock, or was it just a very natural progression for you?
Ooh.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what? When we were the Sounds of Soul, we were doing it because it was fun. We the monetary aspect of it did not occur to us at that time. The only monetary aspect we had was Deborah Hunter, who was our fourth member in our group. Her mother would take a hat anywhere we sang and pass it around to everyone and demand that they put something.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta have a
Oh,
tip
yeah.
jar. Right.
Oh,
Gotta have a
yeah.
tip jar, right?
These,
I
There you go.
remember
these
that.
girls ain't
The
singing for
tip
free,
jar.
and so
Right.
that was our concept. There was no contracts or anything, no exchange of deposits. you know so when with Sounds of Soul, and interestingly Deborah's brothers were actually the band, so we were already accustomed to singing with a live band through that
Yeah.
experience. um so because we kept up doing that, the transition into professional singing, truly professional singing, we came in with the talent first. So we were doing the Miss Black America New York State pageant.
Mm,
The guy we babysat for, Stanley Burton, was the director of the state pageant. These girls can sing. You know, we had this reputation of being really, really good.
Mhm.
And so he said, I'll tell you what, he says, I want you guys to sing for the Miss Black America New York State pageant. And I've got this guy who's going to be the musical director for the entire pageant. And that guy turned out to be Randy Muller.
Mhm.
So now we didn't know that this was about what was about to happen, but we were
mm,
just singing. We didn't know his reputation at that
mm.
time because certainly he
No idea.
probably had a neighborhood reputation, but we didn't really weren't aware of that. And we went in there. He said to us later, "Yeah, sure, sure, they can sing. I'll be the judge of that." And because we sang "Old Man River" a cappella like the Temptations, because Deborah had the tenor voice, so she so she did the lowest, Melvin Franklin's part, and, so
Wow.
everybody was always
Yep.
shocked because we were able to cover all the parts. Dolores was, Eddie Kendricks.
I was absolutely
And so Randy was just astonished, right, Bonnie, right?
Randy could not, and that was our signature song.
Mm.
Which
Old Man River by the Temptations was our signature. We won every talent show with that song.
it's a hell of an
That was
arrangement too.
our
Yeah.
Oh,
signature song.
That's right.
absolutely.
That's right.
Because they didn't expect that to come out of women's voices.
Mm.
But
They
They
weren't
didn't
ready.
expect that. We
They wasn't
we
ready.
modeled ourselves behind the male groups.
right.
And
Well, you
because the male group's harmonies always was thick, always was warm,
Yep.
and they always had steps.
Yep.
So that is how we modeled ourselves. And for us to come up there, 4 women to sing Old Man River, the whole entire auditorium of the contestants and the roadies and everybody that was there getting the pageant together was stunned. You could hear a pin drop.
Mm.
And so that was our board for working our way into a professional capacity.
Yeah, that was a springboard.
Yeah, that was the springboard. Because once Randy realized that
He could
we
really
could
sing.
really sing,
Mhm.
sang.
then we started to open it up for brass construction.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what
Which
I'm
he was an
saying?
instrumental part of, and BT Express and the entire that whole
Right.
Brooklyn,
Yeah.
movement, post-disco and late disco movement. So I gotta ask you, because your vocal arrangements and your vocal timbre and your range always reminded me of kind of the Brooklyn East Coast equivalent of the Pointer Sisters. So the Pointer Sisters
That's an
gave you the
honor.
Oakland Church and Hollywood Glam.
Yeah,
Oh,
really.
believe me, I'm a
That's
huge
an
fan.
honor, really,
They
because we love them. We love the Pointer Sisters.
So do we. So, like, they were the Oakland Church and Hollywood Glam, but you were the same energy with tighter, grittier, a sense of New York sense of urgency underneath all the grooves you were singing about. So, can you talk about can you each one of you give me a feeling on how you feel about that statement I just made?
Well, we
Dolores.
had a Brooklyn there's something called a Brooklyn swag.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And because and we coupled that with what we learned from Miss Lynn and being in chorus. Because you can't negate the fact that when we were singing with Miss Lynn in chorus in FDR High School, that gave us a real deep basis of how we was going to be able to use our voices in any way we needed to use them.
Mhm.
And Miss Lynn taught us that. And so we coupled that with what Randy and Saul taught us about um, mixing it in a different way, the Brooklyn swag of how we was going to be Sky.
Mm.
And we and the harmony that Miss Lynn taught us, we just made it who the Dunning sisters needed to be.
Mhm.
And I think too, we were very fortunate especially with going in the studio, that we could switch notes.
Yeah,
You know,
you did a good
we
job.
would be in that studio and we would be singing each other's notes. And I think that was the expertise of Randy, because he would have me sing Denise's note, Denise sing Dolores. He would switch it around. So I think that is where our gritty sound came from.
And the warmth as well.
Sure.
Because even
Mm.
though we were singing each other's notes, our voices are different,
Mhm.
so to speak. And so that's where that sound of the three of us came from.
Mhm.
Yes,
You
and
know,
you know what, Bonnie, I like that you brought that up because Randy, and we have to really give him and Saul a lot of credit
Yeah.
for shaping our sound because were it not for the types of songs that they were giving us to sing, you know what I mean? Like Brooklyn funk has a very distinctive sound. You know, you think about Crown Heights Affair,
Crown Heights Affair, yes.
right? You think about BT Express,
Press, yes.
even
Yeah.
though they of course were also their sound was heavily influenced by Randy's style, but
Absolutely.
Randy had a way of and you know what? It annoyed us to a fare thee well at the
Oh,
time.
fare thee well. I like that, Denise.
A
Fare
fare
thee
thee
well.
well.
Because
What?
sometimes we
That's
wanted him to
No,
classy.
now
fare thee
see,
well.
now I'm
Like,
showing those numbers. Oh, fare thee well. Ooh. He was very meticulous about what he wanted. Now, he can't tell you what he wants. And this is the beauty of what I think I have learned from this experience because it's a sound. And until you hear the sound, it's like identifying which bird is making that sound. Well, you have to hear the sound so you know the difference between a whippoorwill and a robin, right? So Randy would have to hear what we were producing in order to craft it by instruction to get to get us to deliver what he want, you know, what his vision
Mm.
was for each in particular, each song.
oh,
So I just
fare thee well.
remember, and you guys will remember this, Bonnie and Dolores. That daggone "Here's to You." We must have sang that "Here's to You." Now I want more short on the "You." Here's to you. How short can we
550,000
possibly
times.
make it?
Here's you.
he got on
Yep.
our nerves so bad.
Oh my
But
Lord,
you
have
know what the
mercy.
one thing that they knew to do? Because when they got on our nerves, we just take the headphones off and put it on the mic stands and go to the bathroom.
We
We
had
didn't even
to.
tell them we were going to the bathroom.
We had
You were
to
just like, look
because
at it. We've done this
Oh.
84
We
times. This is
take them
not it
off,
yet.
put
It's
them on,
enough.
and go to the bathroom.
But this is the early years. Now, let
Right,
me just be
right.
clear. And we needed that discipline because
Mm.
I'll never forget. I'll never forget. The first time we went into the studio, now that was even before Sky, when we were doing the background vocals for Raphael Cameron and some of Randy's other artists. He called us in to do background vocals for them. We were in there and we were so giddy and silly, and because we're just like all of us together in a room is just silliness, out
Mhm.
the gate. So we were in there fooling around, fooling around. We didn't realize time was money. And I'll never forget John Bradley said, "Now, ladies, 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 you have to settle yourselves down and let's get this done."
and we
So
Mm.
absolutely
the
love
things
John
that they
Bradley.
ask
Oh
us
my
to
goodness.
do. What did you say, Dolores?
I said we absolutely love John Bradley.
Yes,
Oh my goodness.
John was the comic because he would make sure he recorded everything. That was the other thing. We
Yeah.
That's
didn't
what I
like
loved about
inside
John
production
Bradley.
issues, but
He has
we
put
really owe
crosstalk
it
in
to Randy
yeah.
for. I'm sorry, Kurt.
I was gonna
We
say,
owe it to him for crafting what our sound ultimately became to be, and we learned what that was. And I have to say, and then I'm going to let you go. By the time when you look at the progression of our sound through each album, you can
mhm.
hear us starting to figure out, what our signature sound is.
Mhm.
You had a verbal shorthand is what I was gonna say, a non-verbal shorthand, because there's certain musicians that you work with that they can't verbally describe what you can't put into words,
Mhm.
because when you do music and instrumentation and the different colors of each instrument, it's sometimes hard to put into words.
Right.
That's
But
So
you
you had to learn the vocabulary over time.
Yes.
But like Denise said about John Bradley. John Bradley was the engineer for a
Uh-huh.
very long time.
Yeah.
And what I did appreciate about John Bradley, like Denise said, he would record everything
Mm.
because
Right.
Randy did not know what he wanted. And sometimes we would record the same thing 555 times, and he would take that very first take.
First
The
take.
first take. Uh,
Why is it always the first
Go back,
take is
John.
the
Go back.
best?
Go back,
Right,
and so
right.
John
Yeah.
knew Randy very well.
Yes. Yes.
Randy's
That's
style.
very good, by the
So
way.
so
Good
John
relationship.
would take everything.
Yeah.
Every tape we did,
He
he
would.
would take, because he knew that Randy might go right back and say, after listening down, let's use the first one.
Take the first
Right.
one, right? Right.
Take,
And
so we
let's
wanted to
yeah.
kill him.
Runner. Yeah,
Sang
roll
it
up in a
20
runner. Oh my
times.
God.
20 times we sang it. You know what I'm saying? Now you want
Yeah.
to take the first one. So
Roll
I
him in a
think
runner.
that sound comes from, like Denise said, it came from Randy. It definitely came from John Bradley, the engineer, because he really knew how to put it together.
Mm.
So we were fortunate that, and I think too, we were fortunate that because, and I'm going to go back to Miss Lynn, we were fortunate because Miss Lynn was a perfectionist.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And
You
she
had that battleground
singing
training.
something over and
Yes.
over
Excellent.
and over and over again until she
Yep.
heard that sound.
Mhm.
You were
And
already
then she
equipped
was
for
back.
that. You already had that boot camp with Miss
I love
Lynn.
it.
You already
Yeah.
had that boot
Yeah.
camp, so
Yeah.
it's no surprise that you can take it. You're listen, you're a couple of Brooklyn sisters. You know how to get shit done. I'm just gonna call that out.
Like
You
you
had
said,
this.
do or die, Bed-Stuy. I mean,
Yeah, buddy.
That part.
Right.
I'm
do or
glad
die,
you were saying
Bed-Stuy.
that. I'm glad you were able to say that. Yes.
Yes.
Come
Yes.
on now.
You know what I'd like to do, Kurt? I'm
Yeah,
gonna go in a different
please,
direction just for a minute because, ladies,
please.
hearing you talk and hearing all the stories, I want to jump ahead just a bit because I'd like to know what it's still like for the three of you performing together now. I mean, is it still that same rush? We did a lot of preparation for this interview, obviously, and we're looking at clips and things, and we're seeing you all, from 2023 and 24. The harmonies are lovely. Everything is tight. What is it like for the three of you to all be together, still performing?
But listen, first of all, it's a blessing
That part.
That we
to
can sit
have
home.
my sisters. I called Bonnie, and I think I meant to call you, Dolores, if I didn't call you, to just say I love you. You know what I mean? Because my and this is all as a result too of our how our mother raised us.
Mm.
So we've been raised to be very close, very
Yeah.
loving. I tell people I didn't know that I was the oldest. I thought we were triplets for a long time, and then I realized one year, wait a minute, you're older than them by, a year or two.
Right.
But I think for me, I still love getting together with these girls and doing what we do. And it's almost on autopilot at this point
Mhm.
because the songs are so familiar to us. We can do, we don't even, best kept secret, we don't even rehearse Call Me.
No, why?
Of course not.
Yeah, we
Listen,
take a chance to call me.
like,
Give
listen,
you and listen. Well, we've
my
had some
daughter
adjustments of
and
routine.
my
to
granddaughter,
celebrate. But
my daughter and my granddaughter can do the steps to call me
yeah,
in their sleep.
That was so cool. Oh
Eat
my God, you're
potato
keeping it
chips.
alive.
We
Yeah.
eat crackers and cheese. We do
Dolores, we're
all of that.
keeping
And
it
then
on the
okay, you
children's
know what?
lists.
We better run down the show.
yes, we
Run down the show, and when we get
Let's
to
run
call
down
me,
the
it's like,
show.
okay,
You know
never
what I'm
mind.
saying? But this is the thing that we have. Oh, I can't say we never rehearse.
No, that's right.
No, no, no.
We do rehearse if we have to tweak
There's
the
a
show.
switch up.
If
Yeah.
we have to put something else in it, or if we get our
Right.
musical director, who's great, Eli Tubo, and he remixes the show, then we listen down and we may run through the show once or twice,
Sure.
But like
Especially when
Denise
there's
said,
changes. Yeah.
Right.
we can do this in our sleep.
Sure.
Mhm.
And I
In
live in
your
South Carolina, so, um, to come and do a rehearsal, we get to I mean, if there's changes in the first couple of 5 songs, depending on if it's a 30-minute show, a 40-minute show, or 45 or whatever, I know by the time we get to, the last 2 songs, we don't have to do that because we already know "Call Me" with like
Yeah, start a romance and call me and out. But
right.
to the point, JD, we love each other so much, and we're having fun doing this.
Mm,
When I think about when we were on the road,
mm.
one of the compliments that we used to get all the time from other groups is, and especially other groups that had females in it, right? They would be like, "You guys are so." The Brides of Funkenstein. I'll never forget having a conversation with them,
Lynn
and
Mabry and all them?
say that again.
Lynn Mabry and all them?
Yes, and I'm forgetting the name
Dawn,
of one girl
Dawn
that we
Silva? Dawn Silva?
Dawn Silver.
yes, Dawn was our
Oh,
girl.
that was my girl.
Dawn was the one we got, really kinda close with.
Yeah.
But she said to us, "What a joy it must be to be traveling with your sisters." And that it didn't occur to us that we're assuming that all 3 girl groups,
Yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah, they're
all
not.
good and on the same in the
Right.
kumbaya, right?
Right, right, right.
But I came to
Ooh.
learn that it's difficult because everybody has their own interests. You know what I'm saying? And so what one person might think should be and personalities all come into play.
Mm.
The difference between us is my mother didn't allow no fussing with each other. And
Nope.
so stop that arguing. One day all you're gonna have is each other. You
Right,
know?
Yeah.
right.
And so we step pretty much together when it comes to performing. And we like being around each other. And everybody has their function and their duty. Dolores's job is to keep the little calendar, put everything in that doggone book. Where's that book? Bonnie is
I
in
got the
charge
book.
of outfit selections.
I got the book.
Oh,
I got the book and the food.
right, the book and the
Okay,
food, right,
okay.
right, and the snacks. But we run it as a family. See, it's a big difference. The thing that makes it fun
Yeah.
and happy for us is that we operate as a family. And yeah,
Um,
and I have many recollection on the road where we was going to get food and pack up food for the road crew. That's what we do. If we came into a
Oh,
town and it was an especially difficult set up or things were running late or there were
yeah.
issues. When the guys got on the bus, they had food because we pack up their sandwiches and they sodas. So
You knew
that's
how to
how
work it.
yeah,
yeah,
You
exactly.
had
yeah.
to.
Because they're doing really the heavy lift when it comes to how are we gonna get on that stage unless those guys do their job. So we had to take care of everybody. But we have this family thing allows us to really have a deep sense of satisfaction that we
Yeah.
can still do what we love and be together doing it.
Mhm.
It's
That's
incredible.
that's
I
wonderful.
mean, and now, we're still doing it, like Denise said, because we love to do, you know.
Yeah.
And the fact that our audiences are still so receptive
Oh, yeah.
to what we do because they're really actually surprised. I mean, it's not a show that we don't do that people don't come up and say to us, "Oh my goodness, y'all still sound just like the record."
Yes.
What did I say to you at the cutting room, Denise?
Exactly what you said.
Right,
I said,
right.
"You
They
sound
said,
just like you
"It's
did in 1981."
amazing that you still sound just like the record.
Yep.
Y'all are still moving, even though we
Absolutely.
might not be moving as quick."
Yeah, man.
But
So
you're still
somebody
moving.
Not
try to
20
meet
20s is
that or
different from 70s.
You know what I'm saying?
This 50
But
years later.
they
Come
come
on.
and they're still entertained.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They're still
Yes.
entertained not only with our singing, but they're still entertained, with our performance as well. So I think for me, I just it's funny because I call Austin up all the time. I said, look, 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 we need an envelope. That's what we any envelopes coming down the pike because
Yep.
we like to perform, and
Yep.
and I don't get nervous. You know what I'm saying? I don't mi I'm that nervousness of mine has been gone. The only time I might get a little, nervous or have to get out of my head is when it's that sinus season.
Oh,
Mm.
You say,
yes,
"Jesus
we
Christ,
talked about that earlier. Yeah.
right now." You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I
as
and the
far as yes.
pollen this year has
Ooh,
been
Ugh.
a
As
it's
far as
horrible.
performing in
man.
itself, we just can't and we never could just wait to get on the stage. We love it.
Yeah.
Well, and I'd like to follow that up with the show that's coming up at the Cutting Room in New York
Oh,
City, okay? I mean, I can imagine what that's gonna be like. Disclaimer, I'm probably going to be there. Kurt, you didn't know that.
Probably.
That's okay.
Well, my wife, the queen, says, "JD, we need to be there," and I said, "Yes, dear."
Well, yeah, you might wanna do that.
Then
Woman
that's
rules the
what it
roost.
shall be.
Yeah. And so May 16th at the Cutting Room, tell me about the excitement that you're feeling for that show.
Oh, for me, this is, like, real cool. It's extremely exciting because when we did the first show at the Cutting Room, it was, 2 months after I got married, and I was about to move from New Jersey to South Carolina. This
Wow.
is my husband's first show with us, okay? And even though he had been, like, forever and a day when we were singing with Brass Construction or whatever, and I was leaving right after Cutting Room to move to South Carolina.
Mm,
So this and it was the first show with the band in I can't tell you how long. So
right.
doing this with just my sisters is like, yeah, I'm coming home for real. And now I can just kind of like relax for this one a little bit more because that first one was like, I'm doing this show and then I'm moving to South Carolina. I'm leaving my family. But this
Yep.
one is a little bit more relaxed for me because that first one was like, "Ah."
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, there
a
was a
lot.
lot going on. I had just
Yeah.
gotten married in January. This was the first show with the band, and then I was leaving.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
Well,
yeah.
I'm excited about this show. Once again, it's home for us. It's New York,
Right.
right? New York
right.
City. Here we come.
Mm,
Mhm.
And uh as you guys know, man, your New York City audiences, they are loyal,
mm.
they are ready for the
Oh,
party,
yeah.
Yeah.
they are amped up, and I have said that this show, the audience is going to be the stars. The way I'm perceiving this show, because we're going to have people who've known us for years, we're going to have people who maybe are new to our music. We're gonna have people that we went to school with, high school with.
Yes.
We're gonna have people from Lafayette Gardens.
Okay.
The wide berth of people that are gonna come to this show is what has me very excited. And I'm just happy that the Cutting Room, it's one of the premier venues
Oh,
for an intimate evening, and you
Yes.
guys can
Yes.
attest to that.
absolutely.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
beautiful venue to see a show at. Yep.
Cutting
And
And
room is
the
just, it's a rarity because some of those types of venues I'm not familiar, like, I guess Blue Note, you know what I'm saying, is
Yep.
in that general category, but,
City
uh
winery, that kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah. And then
exactly, but
because we don't have BB
there's a
Kings
warmth
anymore,
to
Right,
oh,
BB
I'm
King's
sorry,
are
go ahead.
Oh,
gone.
Yeah, there's a warmth to the Cutting Room
that
from
hurt
my
Right.
my heart.
perspective, you know what I mean?
Right. It
yeah.
has
So
that warm
this
vibe.
yeah, it
and
has a
and
very warm vibe, and you can see from anywhere you sit. So our
Yes.
plan is with this show and with the lineup. Can I
right,
actually
I
talk
was just
about the
getting
lineup for
the
just a
Yeah,
second?
the
Please
lineup
our
give us
is
some
people.
details.
Bonnie, talk about your boy Dennis Taylor, because
that
that's your baby. You
lineup
love
is
Dennis.
absolutely fantastic. We have Dennis Taylor, who is a young gentleman that we met maybe I want to say 6 or 7 years ago at a National R&B Music Society event. And he's going to be the shocker.
Yeah, the blue-eyed
And
soul
what
brother, for
comes
real.
out of
Ooh.
his mouth vocally, no one is going to expect,
No.
you know.
He
And then we have Bells 2.0,
Mhm.
a husband and wife group who actually his wife is our makeup artist too. But we
Okay. Oh,
Chuckles
okay.
has a
he's
makeup
one of
artist.
our makeup artists.
Oh, and
We
she is
And
she
other things. We
she
can't.
yeah, she has a whole bunch of other things
Right.
going
All
on.
up
we
each
told her
other's
she's off
accomplishments.
that night because she'll be a nervous. We told her she's off that night, so we're getting our other,
Okay.
makeup artist.
I was gonna
And
say,
now
who's doing
she
her
knows-
makeup if she's doing everybody else's, you know? I mean,
No, she can forget it. That's
Yeah.
No, we gave her the night off.
I'd have to
way.
settle her down. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, gotcha.
And so the lineup is really exceptional.
And it's our family. See, once
It's
again,
their all our
we
fam
want to bring that family feeling
Vibe.
of these, yes, that vibe, and a variety type of vibe. You know what I'm saying?
You're
To
giving that
You
right
got
now.
Corey.
You're giving that right now
Correct.
as you're talking
Yes.
about it. Let me tell you, you're giving that right now as you're talking about it. You know,
Oh,
that's
it's
what it's
gonna
all
be
about.
amazing.
The big, beautiful Brooklyn family, going to be in attendance,
yes,
and tickets are still on sale, folks.
tickets
GM,
are on sale.
Yes, we're going to include the link. The link will be down below. But I'm ladies, I know we're kind of going back and forth, and we're talking about the cutting room. We're talking about the performances, but I mean classic songs. Obviously, "Call Me" and "Real Love" and "Start of a Romance." These are the songs that you all are known for. And you were talking about the interaction with the audience and how the audience responds to you and how you respond to them. What does it mean to each of you to have that pantheon of songs in your catalog, and they still mean so much to people to this day?
I'm
And
gonna let
that means you
Dolores
did
go
it
first.
right.
I'm going to say it's amazing. I mean, you named the start of romance, real love, call me, but and the audiences want to hear that,
Mhm.
but they want to hear the "Here's to You." They want to hear the "Let's Celebrate." They want to hear the "High." They want to hear the "When You Touch Me."
"When You
I
Touch Me,"
can
yes.
Oh,
what Kurt was talking about, "Sexy Minded."
sexy
I
minded
adore
is my
my God.
jam.
Oh my goodness, did he go
Sexy minded.
there?
Yes,
Yeah,
I did, girl.
oh
Yes,
my
I did.
goodness.
Lover's
He did.
celebration. Lover's
Love and
celebration.
Celebration, which
Yeah,
was in the movie,
Action Jackson.
yeah.
Action
Yes.
Jackson.
He
I
went
Yes.
way
That's
back.
how I first. So I have to tell you, Dolores
Wow.
and Bonnie, when I first met your sister Denise, and you remember this, Denise, I said, Denise, when Sky first came on my radar, I had the Action Jackson soundtrack, and I said, and I'll be goddamned if I can remember the name of the song. And you're like, we recorded that so long ago. I don't remember that, but you got to Google it for me too, honey. So I sat there on my phone looking this. I said, "Oh, that's right, Lover Celebration."
Yes,
Can you
Celebration.
yes.
talk about for me? So we're
So
going out of
best
sync. So
kept
you,
secret, show up to the show for a little bit of a surprise. I shan't say any more.
damn
Mum's the
it.
word.
She shan't say it anymore.
Okay, so now I'm going to say,
Shan't. But
That was a
that's the
beautiful
thing.
song.
It's everybody, as you and I were talking earlier before, my sisters got on. Everybody likes different. They like the hits,
Oh, yeah.
but they like so many. If we don't do high, they say, "Well, how come y'all didn't do high?"
Mhm.
It's just that we're known for. It's our early fans
A
that
yeah,
want to hear that high,
and
that
one of our other
that
photographers, it's funny,
that celebrate, and
yeah,
those songs. And fortunately, we have such a wide variety of songs
yeah,
that we could go for 2 hours.
oh,
you could.
Mhm.
We wouldn't want to. Now, don't get me wrong.
We have to forget you go from disco oriented stuff from the late
mhm,
70s, and then when you get into 1989, after you had a 3-year break after your On the Left Side album on Capitol Records,
mhm.
you had a little bit of a hiatus there, and everybody's working the regular 9 to 5 job and what have you. And then by the time you get to 1989, and the whole landscape is starting to change with New Jack Swing. In fact, your last album embraces that from 1992.
Mhm.
So you were able to navigate and survive post-disco era. There aren't a lot of groups that can say
Can
that.
say
Can you
that, right?
can you
Right.
speak to that?
You're right.
I
Y
again, it was well. So the disco era, Randy and Saul were so in that pocket that first time around. Um, And it
Yes.
first time around was, a big surprise to us because we didn't think we didn't know where that was going to go. And
Right.
yet, because like you said, it dialed in to that disco sound so nicely
Yeah.
that all the disco DJs were remixing it. That Larry Levan,
Oh my God.
Pettibone,
Yeah.
everybody had a
Sure.
remix
Yeah.
for that song because it's so rich orchestrally. Here's where Randy Muller's
Yeah.
composer, you know what I'm saying, skills comes into play
Right.
because
Right.
it's got
Right.
strings, it's got horns, it's got claps, it's
Yes.
got fluff and circumstance, you know what I mean? And then we come into the 80s, and again, that's when I think we established ourselves with that funk, the
Yeah.
Brooklyn funk
Yeah. Sure.
sound. And Randy and Saul started to be able to craft, let's turn it out.
Oh,
We started,
sing
you
it.
know,
Sing.
yeah, they started to craft the funk feeling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
credit to Solomon Roberts in a major way for
Yep.
coming up with a lot of those concepts. Let's not forget the silly song that we've ever done, Sky Zoo.
Skies
With the kazoos.
with
Right.
the
Yes.
kazoos, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, that was funny, silly, and it's amazing how
It works though.
And
it
people smile
does
when they hear
work.
it.
We would
Oh
have
my goodness.
never thought
Right.
that picking up this little silly instrument, and it came from us one day fooling around with Coke bottles. We were blowing
Oh,
into the
sure.
bottles, and
Sure.
then Solomon says, "Wait a minute, what can we do innovatively to create this silly sound?" So here we go with
Huh.
Sky Zoo, which we wrap everybody up into, and then like you said, Kurt, the 90s,
Yeah.
we had to kinda the feeling and the tone of everything and the
Yeah.
style had to change with the times.
Yeah.
And we tried really hard to keep up with it because you had a whole new generation of Guy and
Yep.
all of those
Oh yeah.
types of
Oh
things
Teddy
yeah.
started
Riley stuff
Teddy
flooding
particularly.
the
Oh yeah.
that's right, other producers, were coming in, doing
Mhm.
all sorts of things, and one of the things that I enjoyed about some of the last albums that we did, we worked with other producers, Troy Taylor being one of them. He wrote "Sky's the Limit," which is to this minute one of my most favorite
Yeah,
songs.
and for me, tear
Um,
down these walls.
Tear down these
Oh
walls,
yeah.
right? So, which I think sort of started to get lost in the general sauce. And some people like to say that we veered away from our core audience, but I just like to think that we were trying to keep current. And everything runs its course. And then there was hip hop. So, that's a
Right,
that's a
right.
place we couldn't really cross over into. Um but
Honest
it's
to God.
interesting
Yeah.
on the tail end of our gigs, we were actually opening for hip hop artists. So we were the last ones to kind of hold on to the
Yeah.
ability to still perform because our music was just that popular.
Can I ask, did you ever work with Salt and Pepper? Because I
Yes.
see you working together so well.
Salt and pepper, sequence,
Yep.
Grandmaster Flash and the Furious
Grandmaster.
Five.
Sure.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Because to me, you're the
Curtis
vocal
Blow. We
equivalent
worked
of
with
so
Curtis Blow.
Work
oh,
with
come on,
Curtis
Curtis
Blow.
Okay,
Blow.
so Scary Austin
Yeah.
has come up with, I don't know if you guys can see this.
Ah!
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sugar Hill Gang, Grandmaster Flash,
Oh, and that was
Sequence,
such a fun tour. Oh my
I
Booney
would have
goodness.
G,
killed to
The
be I would have
Funky
killed to
Four
see that.
plus one.
Yep.
Okay, now Kurt, are you ready for this?
Mhm.
Sky and T.S. Monk. That was
Jesus.
the lineup for that show.
Wow.
So yeah,
Can we
so
get into
that,
Flying
but
DeLorean right
again,
now?
we were the opening acts, right? Austin's going to the end of the. Well, this is Quincy Jones, Aretha Franklin, Mays,
That was Dallas
Simpson, and
Stadium before
Scott.
we left
That was
Come
Disney
the
on
World.
Budweiser
now.
Superfest. Yeah.
Come
Yeah,
on,
And
you're
that
we've
was
telling
had
me
the
this
before we
privilege
left
of
Disney.
working with so many
Yes.
greats in this industry throughout the eras,
so
Well,
we're
and then
so
and then
glad you're
all
still
the
doing it.
Yes.
And Kurt, I'm sorry. And then,
Sorry, that's
you know,
okay.
obviously all the appearances, Soul Train, American Bandstand. I mean, just having those as part of your legacy is a testament, obviously, not just to the success, but also, you know, people are still talking about that. We're still looking at clips. The longevity speaks for itself.
In
Yeah.
the American Bandstand show, one of you was expecting a
I
child and
wasn't
could
there. It was
right,
me. I
right.
was home.
We
Yeah,
said, "See you."
The show must go
and
Oh,
on
I
man,
then.
we gotta
watched
have
Right,
it.
that baby.
I watched it on TV, and I was, like, so outdone because I
Let
said,
me
"This is
tell
my
you.
moment to be on American Bandstand with Dick
right,
Clark," and
right.
I was home pregnant with my daughter, and I'm like, "Ooh," but that's can
American Bandstand, I have to say,
that was like
Soul Train was great, Solid Gold was great, all of that, but American Bandstand,
was
But
part
Jen,
of
we
our
grew
life,
up with American
and
Bandstand.
I missed
right,
it.
And this is where we saw the Temptations, the Four Tops. You know, these are where we saw the groups, the male groups of the 60s that we were kind of modeling ourselves after on American Bandstand. So to actually perform
right.
on American Bandstand was just, you say you've arrived. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
felt
you
like
get
that when we did the Apollo.
And meeting Dick
sure.
Clark.
And
Come on.
meeting
What was
Yeah,
that like?
that was as like out of a dream, like
I
that's
Bonnie
bet.
right.
said, because
And
Dick
I
Clark had the
missed it.
market on that type of a show
Come
for
on,
many,
Yeah.
many
right,
years. You know,
Right.
no disrespect at all to Soul Train,
Soul Train,
but
right.
you know, because we did the Soul Train cruise year before last,
yeah,
so you
yeah,
know
sure,
we
right,
love our Soul Train, but
sure.
to be on Dick Clark's show was just and meeting him in person, it was
Right.
surreal. It was just totally surreal.
But here's the thing, ladies. You had in your early career, those first 4 albums, you had Philly international session musicians playing on your records, so it's no surprise that that would bring you to that universe
Yeah.
all those years later, because you
Well,
had a little bit of Philly soul in the Brooklyn sound. I mean, let you
we
know.
listen, we all of that stuff was going on in the background for us. I hate to tell you, it
Right.
was we didn't start paying attention to the
We didn't
musicians.
care.
Matter of fact, we did a interview in Brooklyn with a good friend of ours. I think it was B. Montgomery. And there was a guy sitting in, you know, in the hallway, and he was like, Sky, I played I played saxophone on one of your albums. And I was like, who are you, sir? I have no idea.
We didn't pay attention
So
to
we
that.
go and we get the
It's
album
okay.
and we get the CD and we look. I was like, "Oh," he said, "See, my name is right there." I was like, "Oh, my bad," you
Right.
know, because we
But
kind
that's
of were, you know, maybe to our, I don't know, detriment in certain cases because the way Randy ran the sessions, the musicians came in, did all the music. When all that was done, then we would come in. So we didn't understand or
that
really, you know,
I get it.
figure who
Yeah.
was playing the music,
Yeah.
except for our dear babies, the Irving Spice Strings.
Well,
We loved those guys.
those
Yeah,
poor men
All
with
of the
their
yeah.
boots
all of
on and
the
their hats.
violins that you hear
Yes.
on the first, second, and third
Love them, love
album
them, love them.
was the Irving Spice
Like,
Yep.
Strings, and I don't know. Shout out to
Loving
the
little
Irving
old
Spice
men.
Strings. I know they're probably no longer with us at
it's
this
right.
time, but
'Cause they-
we
I
love them. We
and
love
I
them.
gotta
Yeah.
shout out your bass player. Man,
Gerald?
Gerald, dude, I mean, I think of him in the same regard I think of Leon Silvers on that
Oh,
bass.
he's that guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, tasty and melodic.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the formula for that style of music, and he was that West Coast equivalent, but your man was bringing it on the East Coast in that
Yes.
same regard. I
Yes.
gotta
Well, he
shout out
also played with the Moments, I think, for a time
sure,
period. You
right,
know
And
what
he
I
I
mean?
was
saw
doing
that.
upright bass at one time.
Right,
Yeah.
so he already had like you ladies,
A real bass player.
he had the classical foundation and the jazz
Mhm.
foundation that would
Yes.
that so I mean, there's gotta be a part 2, Jay. There's just so much to cover with these lovely ladies tonight.
Right.
You know we love the history. I'm nerding out like a
Absolutely.
mother over here on
Well, thank y'all.
you
Listen, this
you
is a joy, and you know what? We appreciate opportunities to articulate feelings that are in the centers of our souls. You know what I mean? We don't get to
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
talk about these kinds of things to everybody.
yeah,
I just want to just say one thing about an interaction that I had with a young lady on Soul Train to your other discussion, JD, about how our music affects people. the girl said to me on the Soul Train cruise, one of the things I liked about the Soul Train cruise is that the artists mingled, very easily with the audiences and everybody that was there. And the girl said, "You know something?" She said, "My mother loved you guys, and I am so sad that my mother is not here because she played you guys' music. Y'all's music was the soundtrack of her life, and your
Mm,
music helped her survive a very traumatic young womanhood. Apparently, she got pregnant at 15. Her
mm,
grandmother threw her out. She lived
mm.
in cars. She was pregnant with that girl that I was speaking to.
Mhm.
Oh,
And she
Lord.
said, when my mother was able to finally pull herself together, she says, I remember my mother playing your music. Me and her at this point now, we're both boohooing and
Oh, of
crying
course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because we don't know how our music has touched different people and in
Beautiful.
the depths of that, what that is. But
That's
how wonderful it is to hear these
oh,
stories and for
mhm.
her to say, I wish that when I heard you guys were going to be on this cruise, I had to be here. And they're always appreciative that we speak to everybody. We drive our security, well, me in particular, I drive our security crazy because
Yeah.
I
Me
talk to
in
anybody
particular.
in particular.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we love it.
So,
Love
yeah, but I mean, we just love the fans. We love the music. I want to also give Austin, James, and Sonny, our significant others,
Yes.
a
Yes.
huge shout out for the support. Because without them, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, we
Mm,
wouldn't have that
yeah.
they're not like quite. Well, Austin's like a puppet, a hand in a puppet. That guy, but
And my husband
And
came
and
home with flowers for me.
and then
Look
oh,
at
we
so
that.
have
wonderful.
Love
such
it.
we have a group of family friends
Yeah.
Yes,
that
yes.
work with us.
All
And
the time.
when I
Mhm.
tell you, if not for them,
Wouldn't be
our
nothing.
shows would not run the way that they do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It
We
takes a
don't
village.
have
Yes, we
to,
have a team.
our team, we don't have to say things twice. They just know what to do. They can look at you and tell and say what you need. It's just a
Mhm.
pleasure to be because when we started out, it was the three of us and Austin. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my husband. And so for us to try to navigate different things, it was really, it would
Yeah.
everybody would be a little nervous, a little antsy, trying to get things, straightened out. And then fortunately, our good friend Pat, she started to come along and then our friend Helena and Vera. And then as time got on, we started adding people and adding people and
Yeah.
adding people, and it's such a pleasure to be able to just sit back sometimes and be in that dressing room and just we can just relax.
Yeah,
Oh, it
You know
is
decompress.
what I'm
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
saying? We
Yep.
can relax if and so I have to again, like Denise shouted out our husbands, which they are our biggest supporters.
Sure.
But I have to shout our team out because
And we ain't gonna
Sure.
say all them names. We here all day. We love
and
y'all.
Right.
Y'all
I'm
know who
not,
you
Right.
are.
no, I wasn't going through the names because we
Right.
would be here all day. But
Go
I
Team
mean, they
Sky.
know who they are, and
Sure.
Team
I,
LOS.
I'd have to
That's
say
right.
that that thank goodness for that. But I have to tell you a funny story real quick about the cutting room. So one of our friends on the team, she sends Denise a text. And she says, "Oh, me and Vera and her boyfriend, her brother, we got bought our tickets
Oh, right. For
for
this
the
show. For this show.
yeah for this show coming up. We want to know if you can make sure we sitting next to all the folks." So Denise sends the text message to me. I couldn't get on that phone fast enough, and I'm texting her back. This is Elaine. I'm texting her, and I said, "Look, You and Vera better have your tail somewhere sitting selling some T-shirts instead of sitting there toe tap.
Talking about you
Right,
bought
right.
tickets.
What? You bought tickets?
You better be working.
You better
Right. But you see, that's what we mean about the support. They're like, of course we're going to do the T-shirts. What are you talking about?
like you
But
talking. Y'all
That's
thinking y'all
that's what we mean about
Right.
the
toe tapping somewhere
the
and
depth of
no, you better get a
love.
table.
Yes. I said, what's she talking about?
And because
Yep.
that's what that's what they do. They sell our stuff, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
What made you think you was going to be, sitting there?
Lollipopping.
I said
Right.
you're going
So
to be
Kurt,
sitting.
you're coming? You coming, JD? You're coming to the cutting room show,
I
Kurt? Are you
I
coming to the cutting
cannot
room
come
show?
because the very next afternoon, I have a gig myself down in Maryland. I have a
Oh,
I'm
what?
in the Led Zeppelin covers band, and I have to report.
You
Yeah, I know.
told me that.
Oh,
I did. I
You
did.
go.
I have a
We
whole
got
other.
we got it. So then we'll be sleeping the next day. I'm so sorry.
Let me tell you
Right.
something. So I gotta get
Otherwise
my
we
beauty
come see
sleep
you, but
while you're doing the Sky, and I will come and see you do a show because I hope you're doing something besides a cutting room in the not too distant
you know
future.
Austin's always in the laboratories.
I will,
Sure,
That's
sure,
and
what
shout
right.
out. I want to shout out Austin
Yes,
too,
yes.
because he's the reason why we're all together here today. And
I told
thank
you
him.
go see my husband. I told
Yeah,
you.
you
I
did.
told you, we
Kurt and I were telling that story, and he was
we
nothing but a gentleman to us.
to
And
us.
the thing that I do want to mention before we close is that, you know, we appreciate you. We feel like we've known you forever, right?
Oh my
Yes,
God,
obviously
yes,
we grew up with the music, but
yes,
Denise, we saw you. Then we went to talk to Austin, and we got into like a detailed conversation about the business and the industry. And he gave us a bunch of collateral material, and we gave business
wonderful.
cards and things.
Yep,
But it just had seemed like we've known each other forever. He and I had a conversation on the phone
yep,
the other day as we were preparing for today, and so it's not lost on us the generosity and the time and the hospitality that we've gotten. So we appreciate all of that just
thank
as
you so
much.
It's
much.
how
we're
we
humbled.
roll, gentlemen. Thank you so
Yes, yes,
much.
we can see
Listen, we
that.
thank you for being still and keeping us relevant. It's these kinds of shows that we love to be on because we're just regular, get to the bottom line. We have this gift of talent, but we're just regular three little girls in a tub. No,
In a tub with bubble bath.
from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
You know
From
what I
Brooklyn,
mean?
right.
When it's all
from
said
Brooklyn.
and done, that's who we are. That's who we try to portray ourselves as. And if the love, if people are out there ready to receive the love, we're ready to give the love.
Excellent,
Wonderful, wonderful.
folks. I got to tell you, if you didn't get something out of this episode, I've had this grin on my face the whole entire time. I don't know if you even noticed. I'm just basking in the loveliness that we have here tonight with the
Thank
sisters.
you. Thank
Thank
you,
you
sir.
so much,
Thank you,
ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you
JD.
so much.
Thank
Uh,
you for
Thank you.
having us.
if you like
Our
what you heard
pleasure.
and saw today, folks, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. If you're watching us on YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe button. Any of our audio formats, we are on Spotify. We are streaming on Amazon Music, Apple Music, Podbean, iHeartRadio. I got it, Jay. I think I
You
got them
did. You
all.
got them all. Yes, sir.
Nice.
And folks, don't forget the Ladies of Sky at the Cutting Room, Saturday, May 16th. There's a whole host of other performers and a comedian. You do not want to miss this. And the tickets are limited. It's a limited space, but there's still tickets available. And it's going to be a great evening of song and laughs and family.
Fun, music,
Family.
laughter, and
Family.
family. Absolutely.
Family.
Right.
So, Jay, as I always say before I turn it over to you, Jay, I always say before we end every episode, and this means now more than ever in the strange times that we're living in, a rising tide lifts all boats. Jay?
Kurt, thank
Yep.
you.
There you go.
Denise, Dolores, and Bonnie, thank you very much. Again, it has been our absolute pleasure. We literally have the last all original classic sister group in entertainment in any genre.
In
On our,
any genre.
on,
I wonder who that came from. No.
yes, on our show, and we're
Thank
so
you.
grateful. Thank you again. I hope that we can stay in touch. You have a
Oh,
home here.
absolutely.
You have a home here at the Electric Vibe. And before we close, like I always like to say, when the universe comes knocking, you have to answer that door. Good night.
Exactly. Open
Peace.
it up.
Good night.
Peace.
Love you.
Night.
Thanks, JD. Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.
Bye.